Okay, so I've got the shot set up. I'm using the Olympus EM5 Mark II as usual, with the Olympus 12-100 f4 IS Pro lens. It's at about 16 millimeter or so, and yeah, so I've basically got a pretty simple composition here. I don't know if it'll show up here, but you can see there's a tree and the sunset as it goes down. The settings are f8 at 1/200th of a second. And yeah, it's just nice and simple. The colors are really beautiful right now, and I'm just gonna start shooting and just keep shooting until the sun goes completely down. It'll probably be about 10 to 20 minutes or so of that, and then time to pack up and head home and warm up my hands. Once we get the shot, I'll kind of come back and just say hi one more time, and then we'll go to the lab and we'll edit it. So talk to you soon. So as you can probably tell, I've put on another jacket because it is getting extremely cold out here. My lips are very, very cold, as you can probably see on the video here. I moved just a little bit here, and I added some filters. So I put on the a 2-stop soft edge, as well as a 6-stop, the little stopper from Lee Filters. And I've got a long exposure going right now. It's about 5 seconds at f8, but because of the way the high-res mode works on the Olympus cameras, it actually takes about better part of a minute almost to take the shot, because it basically has to take 8 at 5 seconds each kind of thing, with the sensor in slightly different positions. But the composition is fantastic. It's got this tree in the background with the kind of pink sun that you can see behind me here, and it is just fantastic. I'm going to get one more shot here, and then I think I'm going to head back to the car because I can barely feel my fingers. So we will see you back at the studio when we start editing this one. Okay, see you soon. Okay, so we're back here now in the studio here. We're gonna work on this shot that I took. We're gonna go with the long exposure one that I was talking about earlier. So this shot was the one that was shot at f8 for about 5 seconds at ISO 100, but using the Olympus's high res mode. So it's basically a 60 megapixel photo. It weighs in at about 100 megs raw kind of thing. So yeah, it's a big photo, but we're going to start working on it. This is actually going to be a pretty simple edit. The mood that I'm going for in this shot is really dark and moody and just kind of just very, very raw feeling. Almost desolate, like there's no one for miles and miles and miles. So yeah, let's just get into it. The first thing I want to do is, this photo is incredibly blue, as you can tell. So the first thing I'd do is I'd pull out the white balance dropper, and the snow is what I would like to use as a balanced white, just because I know it was basically white out there. So when I click on it, it's going to go really, really warm, which I love. I love that kind of just pre-sunset color, nice and lots of browns, lots of oranges, that kind of thing. So yeah, I love the color. We're already about halfway to where we want to be. The next thing I want to do, I really don't like this this tree that's here on the left-hand side, so I want to crop that out. Now, what I've been thinking about doing is basically going, just putting the tree in the middle third, or on the left third hash mark here. It gives it a really nice balance. And if we get rid of that, there's one other thing that we could do that I was considering, and then we'll try right now, is to basically, if we're going to unlock that and to shrink this down so that the tree is basically the height of that middle third. And pull that out just a little more to give it a little more of a panoramic feel. And then I really like that. Actually, you know what? Let's move that over just a bit more.
All right. So as you can see, the color is cranked up to 50,000, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to straighten this out because it was not exactly level. I was too cold out there to spend enough time on leveling, which is a dumb idea, but so be it. Okay, so back to the editing here. So the tint, I'm going to bump it up just a little more. I like the reds. Personally, that's just a personal preference. It gives it a little more of an evening feel as opposed to the greens, which just makes it look a little off. And then I want to pump up the vibrance to about 35 or 40 to bring out the real kind of colors in the sky there. Maybe we'll do like 38 or so. The next thing I want to do is I want to add a radial gradient. So what the goal of this tool in this image is going to be is to basically make the snow in the foreground here just a little bit brighter to bring a little more interest into the foreground here. So just make it a little bigger than the image. Saturation, turn that way down. And then we're just going to turn up the exposure just a little bit, maybe about a stop or so. It's maybe a little too much. Let's go like that. Yeah. We don't want it to look completely obvious that we've been playing with it, but we also, I do want to give it enough that it does have some extra, I don't know what you want to call it, oomph to it. So pull that back here. Maybe bring that down. Shrink that up just a little bit. Okay. Now, it's looking a little bright, but we'll leave it for now. The other thing that I wanted to do in the effects tab here is I want to bring up the clarity, because what I really like is the kind of wisps of snow in the ground here on the land. So by bringing up the clarity a little bit, it'll bring out those the shadows in the little wind blown snow piles there. And then the other thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to add a little bit of a vignette spot there. Okay, so right there. Yeah. Okay. Now, the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to add. When I was shooting the picture, I was using a two-stop graduated filter, but I still think the sky is a little too bright for what I'm going for here. So we'll pull that down. Obviously, the exposure is going to go the other way. Maybe bring that down just a little bit. And then the other thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to bump up the dehaze on just on the top half of this photo, because what it's going to do is it's going to kind of bring the cloud, the really light clouds up in the corners here, almost like its own little vignette. But if we bump it up just a little bit, you'll see that it kind of darkens those corners just a little bit more and kind of gives it a nice little nice gradient kind of thing. So that's that. The next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to use the brush tool, and I wanted to boost the saturation on this a lot, but just the exposure just a little bit. And the only place I'm going to do this is on the orange kind of middle part here of the cloud of the sunset. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it just a little more orange, which I love because it gives the sun that's poking through the bottom half of this kind of thicker cloud here just a little more warmth. Maybe bring the saturation down just a little bit. Yeah, let's see how that is. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. And I think that's about good. I'm gonna recrop maybe just a little bit and bring that in just a wee bit. Okay, how's that? Perfect. We've got nice balance in the foreground, the middle ground distance, and the distance, or the far distance there. You can see kind of the clouds just rolling over the mountains there. I really like the sky on this, and yeah, I think this turned out to be one of my probably favorite images that I've taken, at least in the last little while. The only thing I do finally is just add a little bit of sharpening to this. Probably bring that up to like 70, and then mask out the flat. Why is my keyboard? There we go. And bring that down, because if we don't mask it out, we're gonna get some weird sharpening in the foreground there. But let's see, maybe even a little more. Those branches are a little bit too fuzzy, which is unfortunate, but once again, I'm not a good photographer, and I probably should have worked a little bit better at getting that in perfect focus before I took the shot. Okay. Foreground focus is perfect. All right, so yeah, I'd say this is a finished image. It's got a nice moody feel to it, but I'd love to know what you think. Do you think I overdid it? Do you think I should have done something completely different? If you want to go back, this is what the original looks like, and this is what it looks like now. I think it's a lot more moody. It's got a lot more character and feeling to it. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you got to say. Leave a comment below. Leave a comment below, or give a thumbs up if you like the photo, thumbs down if you don't like it. And if you haven't already, give this channel subscribe, because we're putting out new videos every other Thursday. Until next time, bye for now.